Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Good morning. Okay. It's just 8 o'clock and we just have 130 people who've joined. We're expecting 500 people. So let's wait for another 7 minutes and wait for the rest to join. And then we shall start. Good morning, everyone. I think we waited for a good 7 minutes and I think we should start now. I hope all of you can hear me. Just type a yes if you can. Perfect. And can you see my screen as well? So you can see my screen also. Perfect. Excuse me. So let's just get started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session on citations. Let us see what we will be covering today. So today we will start with an introduction to the company, to Oxford University Press, and to the product with which we've linked the session to, which is Oxford Scholarship Online. Then we shall move on to what is citation. Why do we need to cite? Its importance. We'll talk about the different citation styles that are accepted by Oxford University Press. And we'll talk about citation management tools. I will give you, the session will not last more than 1 hour, 30 minutes. I will give you a 10-minute break in between. And if you do have any questions, I'll leave the remaining time for questions and doubts. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask at the end of the session. I don't want to keep looking at the chat box and distracting the flow of the session. So this is the University of Oxford, headquartered in Oxford, United Kingdom. It is the oldest and largest university in the English-speaking world. And Oxford University Press is a department of the University of Oxford. Our primary goal, our primary aim is to focus on education, and we have about 43 online products. We have journals, we have ebooks, we have medicine, we have law, we have references, we have encyclopedias, we have dictionaries, bibliographies, art, music. So we pretty much cover almost every field in the education sphere. This is a little brief of our company. It was founded in 1478, and we have a presence in about 51 countries, which means almost everywhere in every country of the globe, wherever you go, you will find an OUP representative there. We publish approximately 7,000 new books and 370 journals in a year. These are some of our coveted products. I've already named them. Now let's move on to Oxford Scholarship Online. I will not like to use the presentation and I'd like to give you a live demo. So this is Oxford Scholarship Online. Just give me a minute. I need to log into Oxford, otherwise I won't get access to everything. If you see me, at least see the screen. Because for me, it says connection lost. Yes, you can. Okay, thank you. That means audio, video, both working. Okay. So this is the Oxford Scholarship platform page. To go to the page, either you can go through your library web page where you will find ebooks and you will find Oxford Scholarship Online, or you can go directly to the URL oxford.universitypressscholarship.com. If you type Oxford Scholarship Online in Google, this is the first search that will come up. So what is Oxford Scholarship Online? It's a collection of ebooks. It's a collection of textbooks. It gives you access to thousands of academic works. And it covers about 27 subject modules. It is updated 12 times a year. These are some very important things that you need to remember about this platform. At the center of the page, you will always see a featured book of the month. If you want to see the complete list of all the titles that are available on this platform, just need to click on this and it will bring you an Excel spreadsheet of all the titles that are available. So then it is easy for you to, search for a particular title if you're looking for something easily. There is a newsfeed column here. You can subscribe to the RSS feed to get it directly into your mailbox. If you go up and see, you have the newsfeed column here at the top as well, which means this is just a duplication of functionality. If you wish to find out a little more about us, just click on the About tab. And you'll get all the information that you need here. There is a tab for frequently asked questions, and there is a tab for authors as well. So anyone who wishes to get his book published with Oxford Scholarship Online, this is again books, not journal articles. Take a look at the author section here, and you might get answers to most of your questions here. If you forget what I'm training you on, you can click on Take a Tour. There's a small little video embedded here, which will show you or run you through the basics of the presentation. So you can either view it as a PowerPoint or as a PDF. They've removed the video here. Probably they're going to put an updated one. So we're now beginning with Oxford Scholarship Online. Like I said, it covers 27 subject areas, so you can choose to which subject you're looking for. Just select the subject and look for it. Now, let's say I'm looking at law. I've selected law, and it tells me that there are 1,906 items for law. I don't have the time to read all of these. My first way of filtering would always be recent to old. I want to see the latest books that have come under law. So I've done this. Then my next filter would be to choose unlocked, because that will give you access to what you have a subscription, what you have access to. Or you can choose by free or open access. Now, under law, we have so many different subtopics. Let's choose medical law. So under medical law, we now have 25 items. Now I find this book interesting, Birthrights and Wrongs. Let me just look for what I want here. Let me look at this book. When you open the book, it gives you the bibliographic information. It gives you the abstract. The abstract is a summary of what is inside this book. And interestingly, the summary of the book is written by the author himself. Then you get the bibliographic information. The bibliographic information will tell you the date it was published in print, the date it was published online, and it gives you the DOI number. For those of you who've attended my session in journals will know what a DOI number is. For those of you who don't know, let me just tell you what it is. The DOI is a permanent reference number. It will never change. Why is it so important? Now, let's say 20 years later, somebody's doing a research on right to vaccination. And you want him to refer to something that is got something to do with the pandemic vaccination during the pandemic times. And there's so much research being published. Is it possible for that student to read everything that has been published? But as a professor, if you're able to give the student the DOI number and tell him that, this is, you could refer to these few DOIs, it'll be easy for him to pull up the information. So the DOI number basically is a permanent reference number. It's of great use to the librarians, to the students, as well as to the lecturers. So each book will have its own DOI number. Moving to the left side, you will find this option called Find in Library. Now, when I click on Find in Library, it will take me, because I'm logged in with the Oxford credentials, it will take me to the Oxford site, the Oxford Library site. Now, there isn't anyone, so they're saying if you want, you can order it from the reprint desk. So this is not meant for you. You don't need to know it. But if you click on Find in Library, it will show whether it is there in your library or not, or it will show which university closest to you has this book in its library. And if you're really desperate for this book, you can ask a friend who's studying in that university to borrow that book for you and to get it for you. The other one is Find in WorldCat. What is WorldCat? WorldCat is a huge library initiative. It's an initiative taken by libraries across the globe, which shows you where this book is available across the globe. So you see, these are the different libraries that have it. If you give me your, let me just check Malaysia and see if any library near Malaysia has it. Okay, so the closest ones that have it are in Australia. This particular book is available in these two libraries, in these three libraries in Australia. So this is the closest that you have. This is the entire book, chapter wise. Now, when you click on one chapter, you will see all the chapters here on the left-hand side. You can either skip to each chapter from here, or you can actually skip from here to here, just using this gray bar. That's how you will keep on moving from page to page. Now, you can download this as a PDF and save it on your desktop so that you can read it when you are not connected to the net. You can print, you can mail it to someone, and you can share it on social network. Very strange. Why can't we cite from here? Let's just take another chapter. It should have. Yes. And you have the Cite tab here as well. If you click on Cite, which is our topic for today, you will see that these are the 4 different kinds of citations that we accept: APA, MLA, Chicago, and AMA. These are the 4 ones that we support. Let's not say accept, but support. And how we can export the citation is by using these different citation managers. Either it could be ProCite, RefWorks, Reference Manager, or .ris. These are what we will be talking about in detail as we proceed through the session. Now, going back to our search, if the lecturer comes to class and says, go to page 65, and if you type page 65 here, page 65 online corresponds to page 65 in the hard copy. So if the lecturer has probably looked at the hard copy and said, go to page 65, you can simply go to page 65 from here. You can keep browsing chapter wise. The beauty of this book is that you can download the entire book, but you cannot download the entire book in one go. You have to download each chapter one at a time. And you will see each chapter has a different DOI number. So you see there is a DOI number for the book. There is a separate DOI number for the chapter as well. So if your lecturer says that I want you to refer to this, he means he wants you to go to this chapter, which makes your searching, browsing much easier if you know the DOI. I'm just copying this DOI and keeping it. The second way you can do your research is by doing a quick search. Let's search for something like cyber. Let's choose something like cyber security. A lot of cyber crimes happening right now. When I type cyber security here, at the top you will see 2 radio buttons. One says all partner presses, the other says Oxford Scholarship Online. Now, what is the difference between these two? This is always checked by default. Oxford Scholarship Online has books which are printed by Oxford University Press. However, when we saw the success of this platform, we decided to partner with other partner presses who are equally good, if not better. So we started working with at least 24 other publishing houses. And we started working with some very interesting ones like the Hong Kong University Press, the MIT, Liverpool, Yale, Stanford, Princeton, a whole lot of them. So I'm going back to the main page. And I'm going to go back to my search. I'm going to look for cyber security. Now you see this is checked by default, all partner presses. So when I search, it does not read only cybersecurity published under Oxford University Press. It takes us automatically to the university's press scholarship online. Let's just first choose recent to old. And then you can choose unlocked. For me, everything is unlocked, so I'm skipping this step. Now see here, it tells you which are the different university presses. So there's one from Yale, there's one from Illinois, there's one from Kentucky. You see, we've got something from all of these. So I can always choose from here if I'm interested in a particular university. Right now, I'm interested in cybersecurity related to society and culture. I see two options here. So there are two books here. And browsing, downloading the book, everything remains the same. Yeah. Everything else remains the same. So again here, whenever you open a chapter, you'll have the citation in option here. Last that I will show you on this platform is the advanced search. Three ways of browsing. We'll do the advanced search. So this is what I'm looking for, economic inequality. I can add a row, I can do a Boolean search here. I can add a row, and if I know the name of the author, I can search. If I want the exact date when this was published, I can put in a date here. I'm just doing a random thing. I don't know if there's anything in 2004 by him. No search results. Okay, why am I not getting anything? Because the Illinois Scholarship Online page is still on. So I first need to go to Oxford Scholarship Online page, then do the advanced search. Let's choose author. Let's see if we have anything in 2004. Yeah. So it took me exactly to what I was looking for. I'll go back to the home page. Just want to show you how you can use your DOI number to search. You can do an advanced search. Instead of full text, you can choose the DOI. Type in the DOI number here and do a search. So this is the chapter that I had copied the DOI for. Yeah. So this was about how you can browse the site. Now let's go back to our original topic, which is citations. I see a lot of comments. Some books are free, some books are open access, Dominic, but if your university subscribes to it, you will have access to everything. But there are books that are free, there are books that are open access. Mary, if your colleague could not register, it's because the webinar is full and he'll have to wait till the next one. I think the next one is on the 5th. I've already sent the link out. But a lot of people register and don't enter, because right now I have only 280 people and more than 500 people registered. So it's very sad. I would rather advise you guys to tell your friends not to register if they don't plan to attend, because there are people who want to attend and cannot attend it. So this I've already shown you. I'm not going into this. We done all this. Now let's come to citations. What is a citation? What is a citation style, rather? It's a set of rules on how to cite resources in academic writing. So you have to follow those rules when you are citing. And when do you require a citation? When you are referring to someone else's work. Because otherwise it's called cheating. In research, it's called plagiarism. You just cannot use anybody else's work and not give credit to that person. Now, the most common citation styles that are used by Oxford University Press are the MLA style, which is mostly used in subjects like literature, arts, and humanities. The APA style, which is mostly used in psychology, education, and other social sciences. Chicago, which is mostly used in notes and bibliographies in history. The AME, mostly used in health sciences, including medicine and public health. One thing you must remember, that the citation style that you should use will be communicated to you by your professor. You just can't say, okay, because I attended the training and literature, they said that I should use MLA, so I will only use MLA. If your professor says they want you to use Chicago or APA, you will stick to the style that is communicated to you by your professor. So let's start with the basics now. What is a citation? Very simple. A citation is the way you tell your readers that a certain work came from another source. It gives your readers the information necessary to find that source again. So what does it include? It includes the information about the author, the title of the work, the name and location of the company that published your copy of the source, the date your copy was published, the page numbers of the material you are borrowing. And journal citations give a little more information. They will have a volume, they will have an issue number, as well as specific page references. You know, when I say a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, it's not my quotation. It is something that Shakespeare said. Or if I say, be close to your friends, be closer to your enemies. This is not something that is my dialogue. This is a quotation by Mario Puzo in Godfather. So here you are. So you need to give where you got it from. So people will know, okay, this is Shakespeare who said it, and he said it in A Tale of Two Cities. It was taken from Shakespeare's complete works, published by Oxford University Press, so and so edition, and this particular quote came from this particular page, and so on. So you see, this information I have taken from this site, plagiarism.org. So I have given it the right, I've given you the source of my information. So it cannot be passed off as cheating. If I had copied it and not said I've taken it from there, then it would appear as plagiarism. It's a question here. What about citation styles for law? A law follows, I think they follow Blue Book. For law, I think they follow Blue Book. Yes, Chi, you need to check with your library to log into oxfordscholarship.com to get the user ID and password. Please check with your university. So why do you need to cite? In this world of cheating, in this world where everybody, especially in research, people just straight away copy somebody else's ideas and say, no, it's mine. And then there's a huge fight that goes on. And when you are doing your research, or when you are doing any kind of academic research or writing, you actually have to, you definitely have taken information from many books, you've done your research, but you need to give those people due credit, otherwise it will be known as cheating. So why do you need to cite? First is, you need to cite because you need to establish credibility as an author, so that readers will know that this part of it has come from this source, but this is the author's own thinking. So it will automatically help them to differentiate, and they will realize that your ideas, maybe if it is a one idea that's very useful for your field of research, it becomes very, very important. So it emphasizes the originality of your own work. The second is, give readers a way to follow up and find more information on a topic. So when you're doing your research, I don't know whether I should be saying this, but my son forwarded an article to me where he says the article says the pandemic was planned, and the planning has been going on ever since 2013-14. And out of curiosity, I went in to read it, and there were so many external links that by the time I finished reading it, I was totally, my brain was absolutely in jitters because there was so much reading to do. It was very heavy. So you have links when you're citing, so the reader can go and read a little more on this topic. He can deviate from your article to other articles to get more information. So that is why you need to cite. And of course, it definitely points your readers to a source. That means to the source from where you got the information from. When do you need to cite? Whenever you're borrowing words or ideas, when you want to acknowledge their source, whenever you're taking somebody else's work, you need to give them acknowledgement. And the following situations will almost always require a citation. Whenever you're using a quotation, Shakespeare said, clothes maketh a man. Whenever you paraphrase, basis what Shakespeare said, it is clothes that make a man. So you're paraphrasing what Shakespeare said, but the thought is still Shakespeare's. The thought is still somebody else's. when you use an idea that someone else has already expressed. So maybe you're using an idea that has already been published. So you can say, giving due credit to Mr. So-and-so's work in this article, I would further like to elaborate on this. So this is when you need to cite. When you make specific reference to the work of another. When someone else's work has been critical in developing your own ideas. You need to give credit to the original writer. So these are the reasons, or these are the situations where you will almost always need to cite, or else it will be called plagiarism and it will destroy your credibility as an author or a researcher. Now let's look at the 4 different ones. Now before I proceed, I'm going to make a very clear statement. There are 2 kinds of information. One is good to know and one is need to know. Now, this information that I'm giving you is just good to know. You don't really need to know all of it because you have a citation manager who's doing all this for you. You don't need to know and look around. But yes, you can use this as a reference when you are citing. You will receive a recording of the session. So you can always use this as a reference, but it's not something that you have to know and you have to mug it up. So the first one is MLA, which is Modern Language Association. It is currently running in its 8th edition. And it is very popular in language and literary studies. That means mostly in English language and literature, any language and literature. So it uses parenthetical. Parenthetical means in paragraphs, containing the author and page number. So these are the 9 core elements of the MLA format. You have the author, you have the title of the source, you have the title of the container, the other contributors, which version is it, the number, the publisher, publication date, and location. So here it gives you the name of the author. This is the first one. This title is the name of the chapter or the book. Title of the container is, it is in Oxford University Press. This is the version. It was published in September 2009. This is the publisher. It's the platform. Oh God. And if you don't have any further information, automatically it will just show which is the date that you accessed this information. This is a repeat of what I've already said, the 9 core elements of MLA. We'll just take a quick look at each of them. Now, when you're citing using the MLA style, you will always need to begin the source entry with the name of the author or the creators. There could be more than one author, so there are different rules. Now, the name of the first author is always inverted. So if it is Amartya Sen, it will become Sen Amartya. So here it is David Johnson, the first author, so it becomes Johnson David. Last name comes first and then the first name. Separated by a comma, and the name of the second author, if there are 2 authors, will be the normal way. Valerie Smith, first name, last name. If there are 3 authors, only the name of the first author in the inverted format, and you write et al. Et al means there are many more. You don't need to write the names of all the authors. But you actually don't need to write any of these. I'm just telling you that this is how it will show. So when you see et al, so that you know why it is et al, that is why. The title, it will include subtitles separated by a colon and space. I'll just go back to my, you see, it's the name of the chapter. There is a colon, space, and then the topic. You saw the example? Use title case, capitalize all words apart from conjunctions, prepositions, and articles. While this is not a grammar session, I would still like to tell you the difference between conjunctions, prepositions, and articles. Conjunctions are words that join two thought groups together. Like, for example, the boy ran on the road is one thought group, and fell down. Fell down is another thought group. So it is joined by two thought groups are joined by a conjunction, which is and. So if it is a conjunction, please make sure it is lowercase. If it is a preposition on, to, by, a whole lot of, for, from, all of those are prepositions. And articles are a and the. So when you're using the title case, everything comes in capital letters apart from conjunctions, prepositions, and articles. If there is no title, just give a short description of the source. And with normal sentence case capitalization. Normal sentence case capitalization would mean you write nouns with a capital letter, proper nouns, and the rest you write in lowercase. The styling of the title depends on the type of the source. For example, it will be in italics when the source is self-contained. That means if it is a whole book or a website, it will come in italics. Now, you actually don't have to take care of all these things because you have the citation manager. It will automatically do all this for you. Again, at the risk of sounding repetitive, I'm just telling you that this is just something that you need to know. Quotation marks when you are quoting somebody, when you are taking a certain part, a certain paragraph from a chapter of a book, etc. No styling when you're describing a source without a title. Then we move on to container. A container is the larger work that the source you're citing appears in. So maybe you're citing a small paragraph from a big journal article or from a story, say by Shakespeare. Say you're quoting something from uh, Macbeth. From that entire book, you're taking only one quote, or maybe you're taking something from Julius Caesar. So you will just write, it is taken from Act 1, Chapter 2, Tale of Two Cities, or Macbeth. If the source you're citing is a self-contained whole, that means if you're taking it from a full book, just leave out this element. You don't need to add the container. The container title is always in italics. A source can always have two containers. So you've taken some from one book and little from another book. Pay attention to the punctuation. The author and source title elements end with a full stop. Elements within a container are separated by commas, and a full stop is used to close the container. So just know it. Don't get confused and think that, oh God, there's so much I need to learn. I need to mug up all this. You really don't need to mug it up. You can use my recording as a reference whenever you are stuck. You can just take a look at the slide. Then you have other contributors who've contributed to a particular article or a chapter. Their names will come right after the container article. And how do they come? Their names are separated by commas. When a source has 3 or more contributors with the same role, write the name of the first contributor and write et al. If there are no relevant contributors, leave out this element. So here there were three, so we put it. If there were more than three, then we would write Ed Norris et al. The same thing that you would do, first name, last name, inverted, and the rest are all in the normal format. Version usually comes if from which edition of a book it is. You just need to look at that. Numbers come from journal articles. It will tell you volume so and so, number 6, and which year it was published. So if it has an edition, volume, and number, just separate them using a comma. Then we come to the name of the publisher. Book citations will always have the publisher element because you have to say who's the publisher of this particular book, because tomorrow if there is a dispute, the publisher will be caught. Sometimes the publisher is already included elsewhere in the source entry, such as container title. You saw it was there in the container title as Oxford University Press. So that's all right. Since you're not adding it manually, that's perfectly all right. You generally don't need to include a publisher if you're using a website as a source, if you are using a journal, because then you will only give the name of the journal, the volume, and the issue number. If you are citing from newspapers and magazines, you will just need to give the name of the paper, published on which date. You don't need to give the name of the publisher because newspapers, journals, etc. keep changing publishers. And if you are citing from platforms like JSTOR, EBSCO, etc., then you don't need to give the name of the publisher. Then you come to publication date. It will show up automatically when you cite it. Either it'll include the year or the date and the year. Sometimes it will have the date, month, year, and the time. Sometimes it will be a time period. That's also doable. If there are more than one publication dates, use the one that is most relevant to your research. And if it does not have a publication date, add the date on which you accessed the information. We'll go back to our first one. You see date accessed on 7 September 2020. What you include in the location depends on the kind of source you are citing, whether you are citing from a book chapter. In that case, you will need to give the page number. That is page 164 to page 180. These are the different page ranges. Or you can just give the URL, just copy paste the URL and put it there. If it's a journal article, give the DOI number. So you see here, this is a journal article. We are giving the name of the host as well as the DOI number. If it is a physical object, like if you have seen it in a live event, you can give the name of the, especially in subjects like music and art, you can mention the name of the location and the city. Which brings us to a break. It is 8:56, which means what is the time, Malaysia time now? You will not get the slides, but you will get a recording. So you will be able to see the slides. It's 11:26. Okay, 11:30, someone says. What we'll do is we shall 11:30. Let's meet at 11:45. I'm giving you a 15-minute break. I'll see you at 11:45. Please be back at 11:45. Welcome back. Can all of you hear me? Are you guys back? Perfect. I have a few questions in the chat box, so I'm just going to take a look at, I'll discuss them before I move on. I'm sorry if you can't see the comments that other people are writing. You'll have to check your chat box. I can't do anything about that. Okay, somebody asked me, you will get the slides, like I said, you will receive a link to the recording of the session. And obviously you can download the recording and keep it on your desktop. So you will have the recording and the slides, but I won't be sending you the PowerPoint as such. You will receive an email with a link to a survey, a questionnaire. If you answer the questions and you score 70%, you are eligible for a certificate of completion. So you'll get another certificate, and you'll get a link to the recording as well. The other thing, I think someone asked me if someone said, Dominic, I cannot forward any articles to you. Somebody had sent it to me on WhatsApp. I read it and I deleted it. So I really don't have any idea. I don't have anything saved with me and I can't forward it. Okay, let's just get back to our session now. So just to do a little recap of the what we did, I told you what our ebook platform is, what it looks like, how you can browse it for textbooks, and you actually get to read books published by other university presses also apart from Oxford University Press. And then we discussed the 4 kinds of citations that are supported by Oxford University Press, which is MLA, APA, AMA, and Chicago. I also told you that which citation style you should use will be communicated to you by your professors, and you need to use that particular one. We discussed MLA in detail. We discussed the 9 core elements of the MLA format, and I've just given you a brief idea of what and how it looks like. Now let's move on to the next one, which is American Psychological Association. Now, as the name suggests, it was originally used in psychology and social sciences. Of course, there are many other disciplines that are using it now. And it is one of the most common formats for citing sources, simply because it is very easy to use. APA citation style uses an author date system of parenthetical citation. Parenthetical means in brackets. And it consists of 2 parts. One is in-text citation, and the second is reference list entry. Now, I'll have to go back to the platform. So we go to our journals platform, and let's just choose any journal. Just choose one particular journal article just to show you the difference between in-text and going to the European Heart Journal. Let me take an older issue. In fact, I can take a latest issue also, it doesn't matter. Here we are. Let me open this article. Now, when you look at this article, Do you see within the article there are certain hyperlinks? You see, when you open these hyperlinks, when I open this hyperlink, see, it tells me from where this particular thought has been taken. Do you see? It gives you the name of the author, tells you which chapter and which journal. And if you want to do further reading on this, you can use whichever one you are comfortable with. This is called in-text citation. That means within the text, this part has been cited. This is called in-text citation. When you go down to the end of the article, when you go right at the bottom of the article board, this is a very long article. Just go here. You see references. At the end of the article, there are references. So these are citations given here. I have taken information from these. I've referred to these articles when I was doing my research here on this topic. So these are the two kinds of citations, the two styles of citations, the two parts of APA style citation: in-text and reference list entry. Now, an in-text citation is a concise way to show the reader where the original idea came from and to give credit to the original author. Use one every time you quote or paraphrase a source. It requires 4 elements of every citation: who is the author of the content, when the date content was published, what is the title of the content, and the website from where you got it from. These are the 4 things that every citation covers in an APA. So it is the 4 W's that you need to remember: who, when, what, where. This is what it looks like. You see who, when, what, where. Very simple. What are the rules, author rules for it? If it is one author, it will just include the last name of the author: Peterson, Sen. That's it. If there are 2 authors, then their last names will be separated with an ampersand or with and, the word and. So here, see, the last names of both the authors are here: Reynolds ampersand Thomas, or Reynolds and Thomas. If there are 3 to 5 authors, you just separate their names with comma, and then you add an ampersand or you add an and. If it has 6 or more authors, it is just Reynolds et al. And if there are multiple sources, you can add them into the same into a same separated by commas in a set of parentheses, in a set of brackets. Just separate them by commas. So if you've taken multiple sources in one sentence, like a part of this and a part of this and a part of this from different sites, please give credit to the authors from where you've taken it. Reference list: whatever source you've cited in the text should also appear in the reference list. And the format depends on your source type. The book titles will always be in italics. If it is in the reference list, which is APA is mostly used in the journal format, author, year, article title, name of the journal, volume, issue. Issue again is not in italics. That's it. This is how it would look like. Basic requirements for APA is Times Roman 12 point, double line spacing, 1 inch, 2.54 centimeter margins, left aligned running head with a shortened title and page number. Now, you don't need to memorize this. This is just for me to tell you and for you to know. Then we move on to Chicago Book Citation. Chicago Book Citation is mostly where you have it, you have the author's name, publication, everything as a footnote, or you have it as a full note, or you have it as a short note, or you have it as a bibliography format or a bibliography example. Footnotes means the notes that come at the end of the article. Let's go here. So these are generally reference text is usually footnotes. If we take any of this, if I come to conclusion here, if I take the last chapter here, we don't support Vancouver style Sundaram, so I will not be able to train you on that. I'm not sure if citation in APA is version 7. You can check Google. I wanted to show you. See, these are footnotes. This is what footnotes looks like. So it gives you the name of the author, the name of the book, the number, the pages, which year, gives you all of this. Again, here, where this book is available, you can look for. So this is what we call footnotes. Chicago, in an in-text format, will have the author's last name, year, and page number. In an in-text citation, it will just be the last name of the author, the year, and the page numbers in bracket. So you see, this is how it comes. The name of the author, the year, and the page numbers. In the reference list format, you will find the author's name here, last name, first name, the year, the title of the book, and the name of the publisher. Very simple. Chicago, APA are extremely simple styles. I've shown you what a footnote looks like. So you see, for a short note, it will be the name of the author, the name of the book, and the page number of the book. In a bibliography format, you'll have the author's last name, first name, the name of the book. This is again name of journal, volume, number, issue, month, season, year, page range, DOI if applicable. So here in the footnote format, in the short note format, this is how it appears. Author, year, title, taken from which journal, the source, which volume, which issue, which volume, and the page numbers. Sometimes it also gives you the TOI number. Then we move on to AMA. AMA is often used in medical sciences and uses a numeric system. The numbering in the text is seen in superscript with the page number included in paragraphs. Here, this is the name of the author, the year of copyright, the title of the book, where it was from, the publisher, which year did I access it, which date did I access it, and it gives you the URL. Now, all this is totally confusing. If I asked you to mug up all this, you would be like, you would hate it. But many years ago, people would have to, keep this in writing and do it manually. And when you're doing your research, you are referring to so many different articles and books. Is it humanly possible that every time you refer, you make a note of it? Every time you're referring to a journal, again, you're making a note of it. Manually, it is so painful. You'll actually go crazy. But there is some good news. Your references, your research, there is a program that can keep track of these references for you. And it is called the Citation Manager. Check with your librarian which citation manager your university uses. What does a citation manager do? See, when you're doing your research on a Word document, you are writing that this particular paragraph you took from here. So you're basically making your own little notes. What does your citation manager do? It collects all that information on your topic. And then it imports your citation information to the citation manager. And the third thing that it does is it uploads PDFs and other files that you have to your sources. It does all of that. It's also called a reference manager or a bibliographic manager. So if you have built a database, from this book I've taken this, from this journal I've taken this. So in a Word document, you are actually sitting and doing all of this. But if you link it to a software, it automatically gives you more flexibility. And it takes you out of the restrictions that we offer, that the author name has to be like this, the author name should be this. Now there are 5 authors, so there should be an et al. It should be separated by a comma. This should be italicized. This should be in lowercase. This should be in capital letters. So many things. Imagine how confusing it would be. But all this, there is a software that's doing it for you. You don't need to do any of this yourself. It helps you store, search, and organize your research, add notes, links, PDFs, and other file types, which means you will have a library for yourself to go back to. For example, let me just go back to these. You see, every time this person has done a research, when you are citing, let me just go to the cite page. Let's say when you're citing. Now, I don't have the software, so I can't show you a complete demo. Now, I'm using the APA format. I can download it in whichever format and then choose which software I want to take it in. Now, I don't have it, so I won't be able to do this. It won't open for me. But this is how. So every time you're researching, you can choose which one your university supports and keep on exporting your citation. It will make your life much easier. When should you use a citation manager? When you want to organize your research and easily create a bibliography. So you're doing your research, you're choosing something, selecting it, exporting it. So when you're doing your research on how to deal with cyber crime in ATM machines, you know, in India, we've recently had a major haul. All of us are very scared to use the ATM. If you go to the ATM and type in the currency you want to withdraw, it'll help you withdraw, but after that, whatever money is in your account is getting siphoned off straight away. There was the last 2 weeks have been very painful for withdrawing money. I've had to personally go to the bank and withdraw cash because all ATMs were hacked. It's a big cyber crime. So if you want to actually do a research on this, now on cybersecurity and cybercrime, whatever research you're doing, you can easily just keep transferring and creating a bibliography. When will you use it? When you have more than 15 to 20 references. Then you need a full load. When you want to keep your research in a subject area well organized. So let's say I'm doing law. Now I could have medical law, I could have criminal law, I could have civil law, I could have company law, organization law, many. So different subjects, different files. And it is easy for you to locate all your research in one convenient location. You can easily export your citations from many of the library databases. See, when you're doing your research, you're not only going to use Oxford. You will use Wiley, you will use Sage, you will use Elsevier. You'll have different publishers. You'll be taking material from different places. And you're putting them in one Word file. Your citation manager will easily export all of that from all the different library databases, collated and put it in your article. Now, there are many, many options for citation manager software. You have ProCite, RefWorks, Reference Manager, Zotero, EndNote, Mendeley. But if you see in Oxford, we support only these three. We don't have support for these. Now, in such a case, when suppose your university is using Zotero or it's using Mendeley, we only have these three options. In such a case, you will use a .ris file. What does a .ris file do? It will automatically take the information in a format that can be read by your software. So maybe you've done your references, you've put them all in a Word document, and then you want to transfer them to Zotero because your university uses Zotero, but Oxford doesn't have Zotero. In such a case, you will choose .ris. What RIS will do? It will automatically provide the citation. It'll read the format that your citation manager is and export it exactly like that. So if your university subscribes to a fourth one, which is not listed here, then all you need to do is click on .ris. RIS style option is designed to retain all information in your references without rearranging. So we don't change this thing. It just exports it in the same this thing to the format that your university reads. For more information on Citation Manager, please check with your librarian. That brings me to the end of today's session. Any questions, please ask. Why would you do it from Mendeley? You will, if you're using an Oxford, if you're using a reference from Oxford, then you will use .ris. .ris will automatically read Mendeley's format. Have you understood, Dominic? Whether you can use EndNote or not, you have to check with your librarian. When your resource is not done in English, well, that I think you should check with your professors. If it's not English, how can you use this? I just said I would share the recording of this session. So you will get to see the slides. And please do answer the quiz. If there is no author name, you'll just have to skip it. But there will be author names. How is it possible that there is no author? See, what citation style you should use is what you should ask your professors. The quiz link will come to you in an email after 2 hours. It takes 2 hours for the recording to be downloaded. Please don't send me any emails asking me for where is my, where I have not received this quiz, I have not received the quiz. You will get it within 2 hours. How about a blog? Well, for a blog, you don't really do a citation, do you? For a blog, you just need to keep adding your comments in a blog. The certificate will automatically reach your mailbox. There, you don't need a link. It will come. You will receive the link to the quiz. Once you complete the quiz, there is a team that will collate your results and then send you your certificate. Again, whether you cite from a blog, Dominic, or whether you cite from anywhere else, it will always be the software that your professor tells you to use. Yes, Chi, you will receive a link to the recording. Any new topics? Not right now. Those who have got certified on how to publish with Oxford University Press, those will be allowed to attend the funding policies, licensing agreements, and funding policies. Which is why I said nobody cites from a blog. But check with your professor. Nobody actually cites from a blog. You can just mention that I read it and put the link of it. Nobody generally cites. Yes, the session is over. I'm just attending to questions. Any more questions? Well, thank you so much for attending the session. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good rest of the week. Bye.